Hey guys, hope you are doing well today. Thanks so much for tuning in to my video today. If you're new around here, my name is Brian Taylor. I'm the owner of Dreamline Realty right here in Charlotte. And today, guys, we're picking up on a series that I put together. It's a four-part series. This is about prices falling in the Charlotte area. We've already tackled the northeast side of Charlotte. We've already done the northwest side of Charlotte. In today's video, we're making our way down into the southeast side of Charlotte, and I'll tell you what towns and areas we're talking about here in just a minute. But if you haven't checked out the other two, they're down there on the channel. I'd encourage you to check those out if you're interested in certain areas around the Charlotte region. So before we kick it off today and get into all of the data, I want to talk to you guys real quick about an article that came out today with the Case Schiller Index talking about home price appreciation. And if you've watched any of my last couple of videos, I've been really talking about home prices in the Charlotte area starting to soften, and I really believe that's what we're going to see as we head through the summer months and into the fall months. So let's head over here and take a look at this real quick, and then we're going to dive into the data. And I think you're going to be surprised to see some of the things that I'm going to share with you. So let's jump over here real quick, and we'll kick this off. So the Case Schiller Index right here, guys, it comes out every month, and it says home prices push higher, but they're starting to cool off. So before I get into this really quickly, the Case-Shiller Index is a metric that measures the top 20 metros across the country, and it's a gauge for where home prices are coming in at. Now, I don't necessarily love this index because it is lagging in data about 2 months. So it doesn't give us the real live time, but it does give us the trends in history over the past. So the things I'm going to show you today were really March numbers, but it's still intriguing and going to give us a real good idea of kind of where things are going. So it does go on to say here that today, May 27th, annual home price growth increased by 3.4% in March, okay? It says that's down from February's index at 3.9, which is also down from January as well. So we are starting to see this trend with things falling. Now, a couple fun facts for you I'll share with you is this right here. So since they started keeping this type of a metric, what's really cool is they share with us the hottest and coldest housing markets over the last 20 years. And I think this is fairly interesting because it shows us in Charlotte, sorry about that, I don't know why that's not clearing off my screen, but Charlotte, over the last 20 years, has seen a 145% increase in home values. Guys, that is absolutely crazy. That's putting Charlotte in the top 3 of the metros that they track. But again, it is showing us that home price appreciation is coming down. And again, as I've shared with the other videos, it is evident of that, which is why we're starting to see these price decreases, I guess as a result of these price decreases, is a result of the home price appreciation coming down. So let me tell you where we're going to be headed to today. Go over to our Google Maps. So today we are going to be looking at the southeast side of Charlotte. We're going to take a look at Mint Hill. We're going to take a look at Indian Trail. And then we're also going to go down into Monroe. And then finally, we're going to go over here in this general area and take a look at zip code 28215. I don't know why my little pencil is acting up today. 28215, that is a special request from one of my watchers that asked me to do a video about that specific zip code. So if that was you, this video is for you. So, all right, we're going to start this off in Mint Hill. Let me give you some context around what we're going to do if this is the first one of these you watch me do. Basically, I have taken the last 180 days of sales between 300,000 and 900,000, and I've broken it down to show you how many homes were sold. And I'll get into all of the metrics that's over here in just a minute because that's where all the fun stuff is. But we're going to take a look at the original list price and then the original sold price, and then we're going to see what that difference was. And I'm going to share with you as I go down through here. I'm not going to go through all of these with you one by one. That would be kind of crazy. But these differences in black right here are how much properties went for over asking price. And then as we scroll down through here, you can see the zeros. That means that they were listed. For example, this one was listed for 360 and it sold for 360. So that's why it's a zero. It sold for exactly asking price. And then we get down in here to all the red. These are the properties that sold for under asking price. And then again, I analyze all the data over here for you. So since we're in the Mint Hill area, let's talk about this one here. So we are over here in, Indian Trail, my bad. Indian Trail prices 300 to 900,000 sales in the last 6 months. So there were 215 total home sales. Out of that 215, 31 of those sold for asking price, which is 14.42%. We got 40 of these guys that sold for over asking price. That was 18% of the home sales. And then 144 of these properties sold for under asking price. That makes up 67% of the home sales in the last 6 months sold for under asking price. So the average price that the house was listed in Indian Trail was $495,000, $560,000. The average sales price was $482,000, $344,000. And the average price reduction was $22,389. And then there's some additional data that I'd like to take a look at, and I'm going to share these with you now, is average days on the market in that time frame was 47. And new construction sales, 50 out of the 215 were new construction. So 23.26% of the home sales were new construction, which means that 165 of those were existing homes, making up 77%. And then I want to look at, okay, what are people really after? So homes built in the year 2000 or later made up 74.42%. And then the homes built prior to the year 2000 made up 55. That brings us in at 25.58%. So guys, I like geeking out on data. I think it's interesting to track these trends and take a look at some things of what's going on. So if you guys like this kind of content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, drop a comment below. So you can see other future videos that I'll be putting out around some data and the market in general. But let's move over to Monroe and take a look at the same kind of thing in Monroe. So same criteria I used. I pulled all of this data right from the MLS and I export it into a spreadsheet, all of that fun stuff. But in Monroe, same criteria, 300 to 900,000 in the last 6 months. Now Monroe, they had 422 home sales, which was way higher than I thought we were going to see. But the houses that sold for exactly asking price were 60, and that made up 14.22%. 68 of those actually sold for over asking price, putting that at 16.11%. And then 294 houses, or call it 70% of the properties in Monroe, sold for under asking price. The average list price in Monroe was $467,000, $439,000. The average sales price came in at $453,045. That means an average price reduction of $24,854. 54 days on the market, 172 new construction sales, almost 41%. So as I've done these videos, this generally trends around 23 to 24%. But 41% of the sales were new construction, which means that 250 of those were existing home sales. So call that roughly 59.24. And then 310 properties were built after the year 2000, which makes sense why this new construction number was so high. So there's a lot of new construction going out there in Monroe. And then homes built before the year 2000 came in at 112, giving us roughly 26.5%. All right, so let's shift gears over to Mint Hill, a little bit smaller town. See what's going on over here in Mint Hill. Let's get my cursor over here so we can get this in frame for you. All right, so in Mint Hill, there was 140 total home sales. 16 of those sold for asking price. That's 11%. 32 sold for over asking price, which was 22.86%. And then 92 sold for under asking price. So you're probably now starting to see the trend. There's a lot of properties selling for under asking price because we're seeing a lot of these price reductions. That's 66% of the properties selling for under asking price. But in Mint Hill, we got a higher price point there too. So the average list price is $605,536. Average sales price 587,840, meaning the average price reduction is 33,582. Average days on the market still trending in that 50-ish range, so 55. And here's what I was talking about. 21.43% or 30 properties are new construction. This is more realistic of what we normally see, which means 110 of those sales were existing home sales, making up 78.5%. And again, houses built 2000 or after, 62.14%, which is 87 of those properties. And then 53 houses or 38% built prior to the year 2000. So with that, this is the bonus one here. This is zip code 28215. Taking in the whole zip code. Let's see what's going on over here. We got 345 total home sales in zip code 28215. 86 sold for asking price. That's 25%. 36 sold for over asking price. That's 10.43. And then here you go again, guys. 65%, which is 223 houses sold for under asking price. The average list price of $433,689. Average sales price $422,373 gives us an average price reduction of $19,309. Days on the market over here a little bit lower than what we have looked at in the other areas, 43 days on the market. This one here also a little higher than normal too. So 125 new construction sales making up 36%. 220 existing home sales making up 64%. And then again, our numbers are really high when the houses are built after the year 2000. 253 home sales or 73% built in 2000 or after, leaving 92 home sales or 27% of the properties built before the year 2000. So there is the data, guys, for the southeast side of Charlotte. If there are specific areas you'd like me to cover in a video, just drop that in the comments below. I'll be happy to do that. Generally, when I'm doing these videos, I'm waiting a couple months before putting out the next one just to see what the data trend is and if there's much difference as we get a few months down the road. But hope you like this kind of content. I like to dive into the data. Hopefully it's helpful for you if you're in the market thinking about doing something in a specific area. You kind of know exactly kind of what's going on in the areas that you may want to be. So guys, if you need my help in your home search or just want to have a general conversation about your situation or time frame or just any general questions at all, call me, text me, email me, scan that QR code, or there's a link in the description below. That'll take you right to my calendar. Just hop on a Zoom call with me. We can talk about your situation and time frame. Like I said, I can share my screen, show you different areas on the map, and whatever I can do to just help you guys out to make your home buying process easier when the time is right for you guys. So that is the southeast side of Charlotte. That's all I got for you today. Thanks for watching, and as always, make it a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.